movement.
What's position?
Can't lock in.
Talk to me, Hudson.
Multiple signals. They're closing.
Go to infrared, people. Look sharp.
What's happening, Apone? Can't see anything in here.
Pull your team out, Gorman.
I got signals. I got readings in front and behind.
Where, man? I don't see shit.
He's right, there's nothing back here.
Look, I'm telling you, there's something moving and it ain't us.
Tracker's off scale, man. They're all around us, man. Jesus.
Maybe they don't show up on infrared at all.
Apone, what is going on? Spassky, Crow are down!
Dietrich, Crow!
Dietrich, Frost, off the board!
Sound off! Frost!
Frost! Where's Spassky? Where's Spassky?
Let's rock!
Who's firing? God damn it! I ordered to hold fire.
Coming out of the goddamn wall. Look!
Apone, I want you to lay down a suppressing fire with the...
That's good! Straight! Hold your fire, goddammit!
The incinerators and fall back by squads.
Say again? All after incinerator.
I said I want you to lay down a suppressing fire with the incinerators and fall back...
Jenette Goldstein. Jenette, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. You're one of the heroes helping us on November 21st at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills when we take this stage to do a special benefit, a performance of A Christmas Carol, or Combat Radio's Christmas Carol for a Cure for NMOSD and pediatric cancer patients. But this will be a fun one because it's the first time you've done it, and you'll be back with some of your co-stars, Rico Ross, Paul Reiser, Crazy Man, and and some other friends, Clancy Brown, Ron Perlman. Have you worked with Ron Perlman before? I feel like you have.
No, I have not. Nor Clancy Brown. So
so this will be it though. This will be the credit.
Right,
but I want to,
exactly.
yeah, this will be good. I wanted to actually ask you. You worked with Richard Donner.
Mm-hmm.
You too, Riggs.
No.
Riggs. Out. All right. Sergeant, I want you to dive into the tub. When you do, pull the bomb blanket down over your head. This is a good, old-fashioned cast-iron tub. It'll withstand a hell of a blast.
I can't do it.
Can't do it, man. His legs, he's been on there for like 18, 20 hours. He can't even walk, let alone hop off the can. I'm gonna have to stick around here and help him.
All right, you better wear this.
Yeah.
How are we doing on the nitrogen?
Almost there. So what he's doing, Sergeant, is spraying this thing with liquid nitrogen. That should give you a good second or two before detonation. Got that, Sarge?
Second or two, thanks a lot.
Okay, lights out.
Okay, get him up, get him out. Let's go. Move. Good luck, man.
Hey, Becca, you got a piece?
Yeah, Smith & Wesson.
Okay, try this one. Safety's on. I'll be down later to collect it.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Well, long at last.
Yeah. Why didn't they plant the bomb in Trish's stove?
Think of all the needless suffering could have ended right there.
Yeah. die on the toilet, on it.
Guys like you don't die on toilets. Anyway, I'm here and I'm not planning on going just now.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. On 3. Oh, let me get into the tub. Oh, I'm just gonna give you the... On 3, huh? What do you say?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2...
Wait.
What?
Do we do it on 3 or do it 1, 2, 3, then do it?
Well, it's your ass, Cochise. I mean, it's up to you.
My ass, yeah. 3.
Well, we go on 3.
3 on 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 1.
Mark.
What? Yeah, I know.
Hit it, man.
I hear you.
Yeah.
We're not gonna fucking die here. All right?
Okay.
On 3.
3.
1, 2, 3!
Okay, I gotta go.
Stay right here.
Just get off me, man. I don't want anybody to see us.
He had the best office on the Warner Brothers lot when I was there. When I started in the mailroom before I got in feature development, it was Sinatra's old lot, and he would call everybody kid.
Yeah.
But did he call you kid too?
Yep.
Yeah, he called everybody kid. But I have a hard time thinking of like a nicer guy in the business.
Yeah.
Can you just, because for nostalgic reasons, can you give me like maybe a Donner story or two or some moment with him that
I mean, he's like a big dad, so kind of a huge bear of a man in his personality. What I recall was when I was working on Lethal Weapon 2 with him, and I was that was where I was supposed to jump off the diving board, and I get blown up with all the cops. And I had, when I started filming, I was pregnant, just a few weeks, the earliest time, but I looked at the schedule and I was like, okay, I see where it's blocked and I'm going to be fine. However, as things happen in films, there was a drop and a pickup, and that scene was scheduled for like 2 months later.
Oh.
So I was very excited about just, the pay, the extra pay.
Right.
However, I was like, oh shoot, I'm going to be like 5 months pregnant or 6 months or something. So I told the wardrobe, and she was like, oh, you know what? We got to go tell Dick. We got to just tell him what his thoughts are on the thing. So she goes, we go to the office and we go in there, and she says, so she's pregnant. And then Dick said, does she know who the father is? Because I was single. And she's like, of course she knows who the father is. Dick, just calm down. We just want to know about the scheduling.
Well, he was kidding, right? He was joking.
You know what? I don't know if he was joking. He knew I wasn't married and I was single, and he was, he's just that kind of a guy. And he was like, yeah, we'll shoot her from the, I don't know how they shot me. I was just like, shoot me, just make me look good.
Yeah. So that, it's funny because Spielberg's assistant, Mark Marshall, worked with Donner for a long time on like, what's that HBO and horror anthology they did? Tales from the Crypt.
Uh-huh.
And he said one day he was running an errand for Dick, and his car caught on fire, and he felt terrible because he pulled over to the side of the road and spent hours putting the fire out. And he got back, and Donner was like, where have you been? He's like, you're not going to believe it, but my car caught fire. And so he explained the situation. Donner's like, well, okay, whatever. And then later, the fire turned out to be something related to wiring in this Mitsubishi. And he told Richard that he was trying to get the dealership to pay for it, and they wouldn't. So he said Donner picks up the phone and calls the head of the dealership and says, listen, I need you to pay for this guy's car. I need to give him a new car. Whatever you got to do, I need you to do it. And they're like, no, we're not doing it. And he said, if you don't do it, then in my next movie, I'm going to have a carload of nuns in your vehicle go off the side of the road and have it explode into flames. And he just told him this whole story. And I guess they paid for the car, but it was like, it showed so much about like Donner to like get involved and be like, I'm going to call them and threaten to put a scene with nuns dying in your vehicle. Anyway, it's just one of those things where you go, yep, I could see why everyone loved that guy. It was sad to see him go too. It was so legendary. I mean, Gilligan's Island, for God's sakes.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he directed Gilligan's Island that some were scored by John Williams. But at that point, you're pretty well known as like a high caliber talent. I mean, you were like the Daniel Day-Lewis for actresses. Like you go from role to role to role. You didn't have to audition for that, right? He must have known your skill set or had an idea, right?
I can't even remember that one. I mean, you usually have to audition for every role you do. There are some that I've had offers, like that. Especially since I, will do something different and they wouldn't usually think of me for the role. So I do like to come in. So I can't remember. I remember he asked me what my ethnicity was, because I don't know if there was a name for the cop. I don't know. We called each other the ethno cops, all the different cops on. And I said, well, I'm Jewish, but I guess I look Irish because I dyed my hair red then. And he was like, okay, we'll name you Megan Shapiro. How's that for your name? I was like, yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Right on the spot.
Yep. He nailed me.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Have you seen the movie recently?
I have not.
No. Do you ever look back on your work, or is that an uncomfortable thing to do?
It depends on the movie.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I the first time I see it, I'm like, I'm looking at my nostrils and I'm like, don't go crazy, don't go crazy. Just, try to watch the story. So, I mean, yeah, I do. It's the good ones. Actually, I do. Sometimes I should watch this really bad one that I was in to get a good laugh. But
which one was it? What are we talking about here?
Talking about Fair Game.
Hey, babe, if you were Domino's, I'd get a discount.
If I were Domino's, you'd still be alive.
Crawford. I was at Warner Brothers when we did that.
Yeah.
That's one of our better ones. I'm kidding, of course.
She was just a lovely person, really, really nice, hardworking and everything. But that was a stinker of a movie.
We don't get to pick them. I was just talking to the senior VP on that the other day about that movie. He gets a lot of questions about that because that's one of those. How could this
that specific?
Yeah.
Movie? Oh, okay.
I think there's like a whole cult of people that are interested in the movies that were not so good and how they became that way. And of course, no one sets out to make a bad movie. But I remember he said something that Steven Berkoff had to like redub all his dialogue, and the whole thing was a mess from start to finish. But whatever. Your buddy Mark Rolston came through here and told us his first day on Aliens was like a flame stunt day.
Right. Yes.
Forget him, he's gone! Get out the goddamn door! Eat this!
And
just easing into the
that's
role.
what I said. I was like, bro, don't they give you like a day or so just to get climatized to the set? He's like, no. and I guess James Cameron told him to hit the camera with the flamethrower.
Yeah, gonna pass, he had to like I think pass it across. Like they had a shield up. I'm sure they did, although that seems
Yeah.
still very dangerous. But yeah, he had to do things and everything he had to do, and all of it while holding his breath.
Right.
Right.
He told us like he had to like tumble and fall, like the whole thing was so drastic. But I mean, the one thing he focused on is he was reluctant to hit the camera directly for safety reasons. And I guess Cameron was like giving him shit, like, no, bro, right here. I keep telling you. And anyway, did you enjoy that? Was incredible. That looked like a very, very tough shoot, but what an incredible movie. Now, you look back on that and go, check me out. That's a Hallmark performance.
Oh, I love the movie. I just love it. I mean, I love the script the minute I read it. I love the rehearsal period we had, working with everyone, how Cameron let us create our characters. And yeah, of course it was, hard. It was 12 weeks and, but you're playing a soldier. So, it should be hard, you're working. And then I, never laughed so hard as I did, being around Paul Reiser and Bill Paxton and, and the incredible thing is I made friends for life. I mean, it's unusual. It's really unusual, but, and no, and then the fact that it's lasted for so long and I have fans coming up, like grandchildren of people who've seen the film and they're still like touched by it. And no, it's really something. And, I got to play a role of a lifetime,
And it's an incredible performance. I mean, it's the one everyone loves in the movie. I mean, there's so many great moments in it, but I would say so many of them, like sort of cyclone around your character. And you sit there and you go back and you go like, damn, look at this performance. Like you believe every moment of that. You absolutely you buy into that performance. You buy into that movie, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, but it's so well done. Was that like, did you have a lot of experience prior to that, or was that like the big one for you to kind of cut your teeth on?
Oh, well, see, that was my first time. That was my first movie, or I had not been in front of a camera because I had trained to be a stage actress, to be specifically a repertory actress, doing classics and modern and different things. So I had a lot of training, as an actor, but not technically on film. And it does, obviously it translates as far as bringing the human being to what you're doing and thinking and feeling. The actual technical aspects of where to put your eye line and all of that. That was that was really hard. But they helped me, all the other guys, especially Paxton and Ralston, and they because they'd been in films and they could tell me what to do. So. Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming, but God, what an opportunity.
So from a stage standpoint, if that's what you set out to do, what is it stage wise you wish you still can perform? Like what is the piece that you would love to do?
Oh my God. Well, there's many that I've aged out, you start and geez, oh my God, there's so many. I mean, Shakespeare is one, my favorite. And so now my age, I mean, Lady Macbeth. Yeah, that's wonderful. Oh my God, there's so many roles, and the classics I don't know. I just love theater. I really do. I love live theater.
You saw where they rebuilt his theater on the actual spot, right? In England?
I haven't seen it, no.
They've done it. But do you think he wrote all his stuff, or do you buy into the myth that there were several people writing under that name?
I'm not a scholar of that. I've never.
Yeah. Neither am I.
I was just watching a clip this afternoon. They have like the National Theater productions live. You can watch in a theater, and it was Macbeth, and it was there's just nothing that gets me like those words. I don't know.
But what is it about it? Like for me, like I
it's a
can't.
Condition. It just speaks to, human, no matter, if you're, in the Scottish Highlands in, the Middle Ages, or you're in space, or you're, all these different, you're still, it's humans at the core, and what they need and what they want. And it, I don't know, it either it affects you or it doesn't.
So what happened? Like one day you're studying for Taming of the Shrew or something iconic, and somebody calls you and said, "Hey, there's this space thing going on up the street at Elstree or Pinewood, or you should go out for it." How did that, like, how did you make, because what you're talking about is like a real noble approach to the stage, and then all of a sudden you're like going to go blow a bunch of stuff up. So how did that come about?
Well, it's funny. I was in my plan. Had a plan as a very young girl because my folks used to take me to see a lot of theater and things like that. And so I was going to go, I trained in New York, and I thought, okay, well then I'm going to go, obviously I'm going to be in New York and work on the stage there, try to, or in the repertory theater. And then I also, so I had an English boyfriend. And I was like, oh, maybe, there's other schools I would love to go to England and do it. So I got married, and I did training in England for a little bit. So I ended up in London. So I was doing fringe theater and trying to get on into the repertory companies in England as opposed to the States. And, you check the what do you call it, the newspaper, the actors newspaper, to see what auditions there are. And there was an audition for this film, and they wanted Americans. I couldn't believe it, being in England, you're at a disadvantage as an American, but they specifically were looking for Americans for this film called Aliens. And for a second I thought, oh, Alien, I saw that was a cool movie. What? No, it can't be. 8 years later, how many, well, so I just thought, oh, well, they want Americans. And in England, your green card is called your resident alien card. So I thought, oh, it's going to be a movie maybe about, the underground thing about getting your green card, your alien card. And that's how it happened. I just, threw my picture and resume in an envelope, no email at that time, and just sent it off, that's how it happened. So.
And somebody calls and says, "Get in here."
Well, yeah, I got a call to go and meet. It was Gail and Heard in her office in London, and then come back, and they give you little sides to read, and then they give you other things to read, and then they call you back. Like a bunch. And then I met James Cameron, and yeah.
Does he just call you now and say, "Look, I've got this part," because you're a bit of a stock company vet for him? He can depend on you.
It's the repertory company I always wanted to join.
Yeah, because he knows he can turn to you for almost any nationality.
It's kind of it's half. Sometimes yes. Sometimes like with Terminator 2, he called me, and that was, he offered me the role. He had joked that I had a kid. I guess, God, how old was he then? I can't remember. Couple years, 3 years or something like that. But he just was joking that, oh, you're such a great mom, and no one ever thinks of you as a mother, because I was always, the tough girl or whatever. And he says, oh, okay, I got a mother role for you. Yeah, she's not the nicest mom, but see, Titanic, I came in, I said, I want to audition for that role. And then so I came in, I read for that. And then but he's called me for things that I haven't gotten. Like I read for the first Avatar, he called me in to read specifically for the Queen of the Tree, CCH. So, a director and a writer is gonna choose the person he thinks will make the story work the best,
I have a hard time watching your finale in Titanic, being a parent. It's just one of those like instantly relatable, gut-wrenching moments that, like, you can just, any parent can relate to that moment. And that's part of why I've only your role is probably why I've seen the movie one time.
Well, yeah, me too. I've only seen it once. I'm not really, into melodrama and all of that, but yeah, no, that was a hard one to do, because my job was to not cry. And I was a mom, let's see, I had 2 kids then. I just had my second son. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. And it was just like, oh my God, don't cry, don't cry. So yeah.
I cannot believe that's how they treat people, like by slamming the gate and keeping them below deck. Like you look at that and you're like, is it like, wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, that to me, that's a real important part of the story that was never told. So
yeah,
I was really honored to represent that part of the story,
Yeah, incredible.
Passengers.
And that story is still being written to some degree, I think. You're going to take the stage November 21st with some legendary guys, just some of the funniest. I every year I'm amazed we pull this off because I feel it's like the Little Rascals. And Rico's done it every year. But
okay. He's told me about it. Yeah.
No, well, Rico, sometimes you got to pry things out. He's done it every year. Some of these guys have done it every year, but it's always nice to get some new faces to shake it up. And but give me a Rico Ross story that he would probably be too embarrassed to tell himself.
No,
he'd
never be embarrassed to tell a story about himself. Oh my God, Rico. He's a very handsome man, as we all know, and always was. And
yeah,
we used to kid him, and we still do kid him. But like we kid on the scene. He never misses a chance to show off his abs. Even now at 60 something. Yeah, I mean. We always kid him, like he's like, I'm just stretching. In the first scene when he's shirtless, show the abs, and I always kid him about that.
Isn't that obnoxious? I always tell him, I'm like, bro, that's such twit-like behavior. You're just shaming the rest of us. I know. And then he acts like he didn't do anything. He's like, what? I don't get. I'm like, bro. He said he was up to do the Kubrick film at the same time, Full Metal Jacket, and he had to pick. And I guess James Cameron. Not that I'm on a first name basis with the guy, but I guess he was going to be like, yeah, I'll give you a couple of weeks, but we have to. But Kubrick was so vague of like,
tell me this. That is a hard one. That's what do you I guess. Well, Cameron was not proven. He wasn't, you wouldn't say it's James Cameron, but Jesus, Stanley Kubrick. I don't know what choice I would have made,
Yeah, I think he chose well. It's tough to know, especially the way the role he went out for kind of developed in that, how it would have gone. But he has all these great moments in Aliens that we loved. I mean, every time we got a chance to go back to the theater, you and I are about the same age, so I won't reveal it. I went back. Because that was just a fun movie. And he was a great part of that, the chemistry of those guys. And he told me all about James Remar and how like things shifted. And it was just like, what an incredible story. But I got to tell you, and my wife agrees, the best thing in that movie.
Very kind. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and you sit back and it's, what's.
Well, it does stand, the thing it's also stands out because that character you never saw before on the screen,
right.
There was a sort of perfect storm with many things, and the fact that, like when something is so obvious that's there, but like the person finally, you hits it over. At the fact that you didn't see it, how could there not have been a strong woman in film? I mean, I always say the woman I saw right before a couple of years before I did the film was Jenna Rollins in
Gloria.
Gloria.
Yes?
We're not interested in you. All we want is the book and the kid. Do you understand?
Sure.
Gloria, why don't you take a walk? We'll take care of that kid. You got that book, kid? Come here.
Hey, Frank. What you gonna do? Shoot a 6-year-old Puerto Rican kid on the street? You don't know nothing. He don't even speak English.
my God, my God. And that's the kind of energy that's, I mean, but everybody knows those women in real life, but why
Right.
never on the screen? No one's telling their stories of a tough woman in a situation, and she, has to handle it. And so I used Gloria. I love that. I love that movie. I loved her.
Oh, it's an incredible movie. Cassavetes, I don't know, like what his technique was to just get people to be so authentic. And is it true that a lot of those people aren't even actors? They're just like his friends in some of those movies?
Well, his friends are actors.
Well, that's true too, I guess. But what was it like the killing of a Chinese bookie where they're just like,
yeah. Oh God, I love those movies growing up. I mean, I was always at the art house watching that, and yeah. No, I quote that movie.
Oh man, those are great films. He was a good actor too. I loved him in Dirty Dozen and
yeah.
But
oh God.
That movie Gloria was so believable. Like you didn't doubt for a second that was real for her. She was just I loved it from beginning to end, and how everyone respected her. Like everyone knew who she was on the street. They all, tried to talk to her for, you know what I mean? Like they were like, "Hey, let's settle down here," and then boom, it just like that moment where they're like what is it? Was it the railroad? They're like in a cafe in a train station or bus stop. Remember that when they're finally confronted? Anyway, see the movie. If you're listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about, number one, shame on you, but please see the movie.
It's really something. It's really something.
Yeah. And that's a great reference because you guys were both masters of like the reality. Like there's no scenery chewing. It's like you were minimalists in a sense that like, this is who we are. We don't have to pretend for you, the viewer. Great job, man. And I know it. What's that?
In acting school, I remember when you're saying about like minimalist, there was always this great quote about when you play the king or the queen, it's not that you're being everybody else shows that you are the king or the queen.
Right.
You don't have to do anything. It's how everyone reacts to you that gives you your power. So
exactly.
Anyway.
And anyway, legendary career. The best is probably ahead of you, so that's going to be exciting. They actually did a reboot, I think, of Gloria. But don't you think that'd make a great TV show?
Okay, yeah.
You should script it out. Set yourself up.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've been thinking about things like that for a while, like what to do. And TV, like you said, TV is where great stories, especially women, the roles for women are, thinking of The Sopranos, Edie Falco.
Yeah.
Just, they tell the stories on TV about women more than they do in film, especially these days. Good idea.
Yeah. It's a good landscape. Well, it'd be perfect for you. You gotta put some of the players in play that respect your talent. Get it going because you're the perfect choice.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that would be a fun movie. I mean, you never once for a second. I love that it's so like. It reminds me such of that time too when we were kids, like the rotary phone, and when you had to be by the phone to get the call.
And the kid, oh God, that kid is so great.
I love that kid.
It's not sentimental at all. I mean, that's the whole thing. Just, it's like, I hate, she's like, no. I don't do well with kids. And it's really real. I love I'm the man.
I was just thinking of that moment too. I guess that kid took a lot of abuse after that movie came out, but I actually think he's pretty good in it. Yeah. Like people were,
what do you mean?
That was a story he was telling, but I think he's good. I think he gets it across, and she's
go on to be an actor after that or no?
I don't know. Probably not.
It's hard. Yeah, I wonder. It's hard casting kids. I think Cameron does a fantastic job. I mean, my God, you think of Carrie Henn in Aliens, and then in T2, Eddie Edward Furlong. I mean, great, incredible performances of kids who were not actors.
Yeah,
definitely.
What was the funniest thing that happened on the set of that movie? Give me some. Let's have some humor on the way out here.
Which one? Aliens?
Yeah, we'll do Aliens, and then I need a Donner story that's.
I can't even. Oh, Jesus. All I can remember is like Well, there's a lot of things. Part of it was me trying not to have Reiser in my ear because he's like the funniest man alive, you know. Because I was trying to concentrate and it's not funny, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was when welding. I'm welding with that hand welder, and I'm in hurry up and and the line of like whatever you're going to do it fast. That was completely improvised because the sparks are going and I don't have a thing on, and it's nerve-wracking. And Rising comes up behind me and says, "It's not just a job, it's a profession." Like the army. You didn't realize you'd be learning how to weld when you get out of this thing.
Right.
I was like, please stop. I have to concentrate.
Speaking of that character briefly, the Long Beach Crips came in here once and gave me a hood pass for Long Beach. When you wrapped Aliens, did you have like a hood pass for like Olvera Street? Because I mean, everyone thought you were Hispanic. You did so well playing that. Did you have people that were surprised that was an act, that was a performance that expect?
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I know when I came back to the United States and I was auditioning and I met other Latino actors.
Yeah.
And they said, I was all set to be like, what the fuck, and then they were like, you know what? Damn, I watched that performance and that character. Props to you and all of that. So yeah. No, I mean, that's the whole thing with me. I mean, I'm an actor. I'm never who you see on the screen. Who I am doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter who I am. The nice thing right now is that at least the last couple of auditions, they have wanted a Jewish actress to play a Jew. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you kidding me? This is why you're going to see. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll move ahead to the front of the line or whatever. But yeah, anyway, that's a very long conversation about acting and access and portrayal and things like that.
It's not what the people on the street sometimes think it to be.
Well, people, it's a profession, and it's people don't understand. I don't understand really, how to, I don't know, make a chair. But I'll sit on it and I'll know what looks good, and
right.
So I'm not going to fall through. But I'm.
What's your favorite role besides the upcoming one you're going to get for Combat Radio Christmas Carol?
I love Aliens. I got to be her for the longest amount of time. I really, really loved playing Diamondback in this film called Near Dark. It was Catherine Bigelow's first film.
Yeah.
That was also got to work with Bill Paxton and Lance Hendrickson again and really, really form a character and be a part of the whole artistic process. And it's a wonderful film. It's beautiful. It was, unfortunately, it was not seen. It's been rediscovered. It's one of those cult films that are, people's favorite. But that was a really great experience. I just love working with really, talented, creative people. I mean,
right.
Life's too short.
Yeah, life is too short. Near Dark was fantastic. One of the best vampire movies. And look, everyone wanted a spur after that movie came out. But look, I want to thank you for the time. You're very busy and you've got all kinds of priorities, but you were kind enough to get on for us. More importantly, you're kind enough to help us in a situation that's critical. Children battling NMOSD. And if you don't know about NMOSD, it can blind you, paralyze you, or even kill you in a matter of minutes. But we are desperately trying to do something about that. And I want to thank Jenette for getting on board and helping us orchestrate a performance that's going to help do some good for the children fighting this deadly disease. Many of them will be in the crowd. And what better way to kick off the holidays than doing something for the people who need it? Details and tickets and all of that are at combatradiochristmascarol.com. And hopefully we get a chance to witness some magic and do something really good. I have no reason to think that we won't. It's going to be fun. And I'm going to apologize now, Jenette, because you got to work with all of us. And it's a little crazy. The Oakland Raiders of Hollywood. Welcome to the show.
All right.
But it's going to be good. But I want to thank you for the time.
Sure. Not a problem.
Hello. My name is Rico Ross. I'm an actor who you may recognize from movies like James Cameron's Aliens, Brian De Palma's Mission Impossible, or even A Husband for Christmas with Vivica Fox. I'm here to talk about NMOSD. That's NMOSD. Now, MNOSD, it can paralyze you. It can blind you. It can even kill you in a matter of minutes. But we're this close to finding a cure. And with that cure, here's the kicker. With that cure comes a cure for cancer. That's right, you heard me. A cure for cancer. The Guthrie-Jackson Foundation, it's a charitable foundation. It's been around for about 15 years. And they bring together the best minds in medicine to find life-saving cures. So go to the Guthrie-Jackson Foundation and donate today. As a matter of fact, do it now so you don't forget. That's what I'm doing. Take care of yourself and stay frosty.